ColORCHESTRA is back.
Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists.
Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms.
Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performance.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music programs. Thank you for joining us today for the continuation of ColORCHESTRA International Auditions for Soloists with Orchestras. Virtual Concert Hall's channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and music events from the international artists to the audiences directly from around the globe. I'm Anna Uspinskaya. I'm a pianist, and I'm broadcasting from our virtual studio, and I'm located in just outside Washington, D.C. And today, for this session, I'm sharing the hosting with wonderful Steve Robinson, who is the seasoned radio producer and producer of many music programs for decades. His programs had been broadcast all around the world, and we are very, very honored to thank you, Steve, for joining me for this hosting.
Well, thank you, Anna. It's a real pleasure to be here. Today we're presenting the ColORCHESTRA Auditions, as you said. Musicians are auditioning for an opportunity to perform with orchestras around the world. It's a wonderful opportunity. The goal of the auditions is to encourage, to nurture, and reward musicians who are proactive about sharing their art and developing their careers. And together we are providing musicians a chance to discover their unique artistic voice and do it on a world stage, the only stage of its kind presented by virtual concert halls, and carve out their own career paths. So let's, Anna, shall we take a look at what's happening in the next 4 days?
Yes, I think it's time to just take a quick look at the enormous amount of music we're going to be presenting over the next few days. And next weekend, we have 15 sessions. We are into session number 4.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And this year, for this season, we have a tremendous support from 4 orchestras around the world. Our season is growing. Last season, we had Western New York Chamber Orchestra, which is coming back to host soloists from these auditions, and we are very grateful for this comeback of the orchestra, and we are welcoming 3 more orchestras who joined our program for this season, and that is Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic Orchestra, which is located in Zlin in Czech Republic, and we also have Cairo Opera Orchestra located in Cairo, Egypt, and the Boulder Symphony in Boulder.
Wow, you couldn't ask for 3 more diverse locations and orchestras, and it's a wonderful opportunity for our auditioners and the winners to perform with these orchestras. So
it's a very different audiences in every part of the world. The audience has different perspective of what the classical concert should be, and as artists, we need that feedback from audience. And it's not the same thing to perform in front of the audience in Europe or US or Asia, and so the musicians who will get this opportunity will experience a lifetime experience.
And we have some very wonderful music coming up. I mean, if you're not necessarily interested in watching our competition, you're going to be treated to some wonderful music. First up will be the first movement of the Mendelssohn violin concerto. And then we have Brother and Sister, who will be performing the Concerto for Two Violins in D minor by J.S. Bach. And this first part will, there's two more. The Vaughan Williams Oboe Concerto, we'll hear the first movement with Eleanor Alford. And we'll conclude this section with the complete, is that right? The complete violin concerto by Beethoven with
Absolutely.
Dina Nesterenko. So some wonderful music and some wonderful young people will be auditioning. We also have some distinguished judges on them.
Yes, we do. And well, before we move on to introducing the judges, I
Yeah.
wanted just to mention the conductors of the orchestras.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So musicians who will win the opportunity will get a chance to work with really world-class conductors. And for the Western, well, this is the Czech orchestra. For the Czech orchestra Martinu Philharmonic, we have Georg Sargsyan, and he will actually be joining us as a judge today.
Wow.
And for the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, we have Glenn Cartesi, and he's judging these auditions offline, but still we'll be able to get his comments later. And then for the Cairo Orchestra, we have their own conductor, but those auditions are next week, so we'll talk a little bit more about Nair Nagui and the Cairo Opera Orchestra and the Boulder Symphony, Devin Patrick Hughes, and a couple of musicians from the orchestra will be joining for the judging through these auditions as
Wonderful.
well. Let's introduce maybe the organizers and say many thanks to all the companies which support these auditions and all of our efforts.
Oh,
You
my
see, the
goodness.
screen is filled.
Oh, my.
There's so many logos in the area. Maybe we need to make more than one screen now because we're just so blessed with all this incredible energy from people and organizations from around the world, which are adding their talent, their expertise, their energy, their resources in order to provide those incredible opportunities for musicians. And thank you very much, all of these organizations. And, it's all about people, don't you think, Steve?
Yes,
So-
it takes a village, as they say, but in your case, it takes organizations from all over the world to support this wonderful opportunity that Virtual Concert Halls is giving to young people to compete for the opportunity to perform with those orchestras.
Exactly. And how do you become a world-class artist? It's by stepping on those world-class stages. Without that experience, you can't grow a seasoned artist, and that's what we would like to happen. Now, the primary organizers of the ColORCHESTRA auditions are ArtistVenture, Sound Espressivo competition, progressive musicians, and virtual concert halls, of course, in collaboration with all those wonderful orchestras. And I'm never going to get tired of saying those names. Western New York Chamber Orchestra, Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, Cairo Opera Orchestra, Boulder Symphony Orchestra. Thank you, the orchestras. Thank you, musicians. Thank you, the administration of those orchestras for joining this effort. Now, the auditionees from so many countries are also seeking guidance and support from the judges. And for these auditions, we created the environment where the judges are very accessible. So after each performance today, we will hear the immediate feedback from world-class musicians and their encouraging and very helpful critiques of your performances and what you can do to grow even further. So just to describe the organizers, the Sound Espressivo competition is focused on presenting musicians on the virtual stage. It's live streamed on multiple platforms and combines competitive environment with a live performance brought to you through new technologies. Progressive Musicians is the organizer of many competition and concerts at prestigious venues such as Carnegie Hall. Virtual Concert Halls is the internet TV broadcaster, providing artists with the technology of the virtual stage and ability to reach the audiences well beyond conventional concert hall walls. ArtistVenture is a company focused on providing performance opportunities in the conventional concert halls all throughout Europe, Asia, and beyond, organizing tours in various countries in prestigious concert halls, as well as masterclasses, seminars, festivals, and other fairs for musicians and music lovers to get together and grow together.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage, but I want to hold off and make everyone wait just a little bit longer while I'm announcing additional opportunities for the artists who enter and perform in those live auditions. We have enormous amount of additional awards, and everyone who is in those auditions is automatically entered into the pool of candidates for those awards. And I want to again thank all the organizations which are providing and sponsoring those awards, and among them sponsorships to attend seminars, festivals, to participate in the concert tours, to record, master, publish and distribute your album, to receive awards from various platforms with enormous amount of educational materials to perform on virtual stages in concert halls. And all of these awards, you can see them in details on our websites under the tab awards. Please don't hesitate to learn a bit more about it. You don't have to enter every single audition. Just one audition throughout this season makes you eligible to be considered for those awards. And the judges are marking the good candidates for those awards depending on the level of the award, because some are geared more towards growing students, some are geared more towards professional and seasoned musicians, depending on where you are in your development and career. And our judges will recommend you, and of course the sponsors of those awards will be making final decisions at the end of the season. And I think we are ready to introduce the judges, and I'm going to pass on the baton to Steve to take over and host the rest of the program. Steve, thank you again so much for joining the program and taking the baton from me.
It's a pleasure. And our first judge is, tell me if I'm right, is Dick Ranatamian. Is he with us today?
Yes, he is.
Yes. And was he going to be on the screen with us? That's Dick Ranatamian. He's a pianist and artist manager, and we're delighted to have him. Our other judge is this. Who is the other judge, Anna?
We have Georg Sargsyan, and we have Lisa Lehman.
And are they going to be on the screen, or are they going to be just in the background
They are
listening?
both going to be on the screen and giving live comments today. Okay.
That's great. And we'll give them a chance to talk a bit about themselves when the opportunity comes. But we ready for the first performance?
We are ready for the judges to join us. And Georg, we need you to put on your headphones so we don't have the echo.
Right.
Yes, thank you very much. We're getting ready with
look at that. So we have our judges, and judges, we're delighted to have you on board. I have 500 hands. That's why it sounded so big. Would you like to introduce yourself? We have a wonderful conductor, Georg Sargsyan. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Well, I am not really accustomed to speak about myself, but I'm Singapore-based conductor. I work with different orchestras. Currently I'm in Saudi Arabia, where I'm leading first ever music institute in this country. And I've also been sitting on a panel of various music competitions, and this is one of the best opportunities as well to seek brilliant new artists of the future that are up and coming, and we didn't have a chance to know about them until we are listening to them now. So I'm looking forward for today's performers, see who has a new way of saying about Mendelssohn, new ways of playing of different, works, and happy to be here.
Wonderful to have you. And we also have with us Lisa Lehman. Lisa, tell us just a bit about yourself for people who don't know you.
Greetings. Hi. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I am an operatic soprano. I'm also the executive director of the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, so I'm particularly thrilled to be here and be back this year with all of these amazing organizations giving young artists an opportunity to play with our orchestra. I'm an instructor of voice at SUNY Fredonia and at Mercyhurst University, and I'm based in Erie, Pennsylvania.
So we have someone in Erie and someone in Saudi Arabia. And we should tell people that after the performers play, you'll be offering them comments in real time, right after they're done. And finally, we have Deek Ranatamian, a pianist and artist manager and founder of Price Productions. Welcome to the virtual stage.
Right. Thanks very much. Well, I guess the two things I'm known for are I won the Naumburg competition when I was 19, and I played the Rite of Spring for solo piano and RCA. So that's
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Jack Pfeiffer heard it at Carnegie and at the premiere, and then I played it. That's what I'm known for. I don't know if you wanted that information. I don't know. But I'm a pianist. I had a career for about 41 years, and then in the middle of it, I started managing. Nobody knew that I was Jack Price, and so then we blew the whistle on that later. So I'm known under several names, actually. So.
Congratulations on your Naumburg. I guess it was a few years ago, but nevertheless.
Yeah, there's almost 50 years next year. No, it'll be 50 years next year.
Yeah, congratulations on
Yep.
that. Half a
Thanks.
century later. So we have three wonderful judges, as you just heard. And at this point, are we ready to bring on our first contestant? If we are, someone give me the high sign and I can introduce Kevin.
We are ready. We are ready to introduce the performers. Yes.
Anna, do you have the information on Kevin? You want to say something about him?
The bios are coming on at the bottom of the screen, so we can pass on the stage to the first performer. We'll be inviting Kevin Matheson, violinist, with a Mendelssohn Violin Concerto in E minor, Opus 64, first movement, Allegro molto appassionato. And everyone who wants to learn more about Kevin, please watch the running text at the bottom of the screen. There will be some information about him. And now, Kevin, the stage is all yours. Take it away.
Bravo, that was Kevin Matheson performing the first movement of the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. His accompanist was Judy Clark, and a very passionate and wonderful performance that was. I am not a judge, so I will leave the comments to our judges, and you're listening and watching virtual concert halls where we're giving young people a chance to perform and audition to play with one of the 4 orchestras that are part of this competition. And so I'm going to turn things over to our judges. I'm sure they have some comments to make, and we will introduce, I'll read their name. We have Dikran Atamian, I'm not sure who the 3 of you will lead this, and Georg Sargisian and Lisa Lehman. So gentlemen and lady, take it away and offer some advice. And Kevin will be listening very intently to what you have to say.
May I speak first?
Sure.
Okay, just because I'm the non-instrumentalist in the room. Kevin, brilliant playing, beautiful, really. These situations are challenging, aren't they, when we're broadcasting and we're not there in the room with you. I got the impression at the beginning that you were just a little, I want to say this better, at times in some of the cadential endings, not quite in the center of the pitch. Just in a couple of little spots. I'm being really picky, but I would just encourage you to not slow the tempi down, but give yourself kind of the breadth of space and energy that you may have been rushing a little bit with. The orchestra will wait. Your conductors will be with you, especially in those moments that are your virtuosic moment. I really thought that the middle section was really lovely. I could hear it with orchestra, which was exciting. So thank you, Judy, for that too. But bravo. I'll let the others speak more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Garrett, Georg? No?
Go ahead,
The
Dina,
stage
go
is
ahead.
yours.
Go ahead.
You'd like me to? Okay, I'll go next. I think it's a very accomplished performance. Everything, is syntactically there. I would say the opening, Beethoven wrote over Opus 101, he wrote with the innermost feeling. And he said it in German. And now this is not Beethoven, of course, but I think this opening of this concerto really is one of the most personal statements in all the repertoire. It's so intimate and sweet. And I think that, first of all, it was well played, but I think I agree with the previous judge. I can't see the names. I'm sorry. Lisa, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the way you said that, but I would go further a little bit. In other words, hold the longer notes longer and the shorter notes shorter. In other words, I can't sing, but it was too rigid rhythmically. It was dun da 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 da, absolutely in strict time. I don't think you want that, and you want to develop the tone between the notes, and how you get to the next note is very important. Not just nailing it, but how do you get there? I'm not suggesting sliding or anything, but it's an intimate thing. Much of the concerto, this movement, is a lot of passage work, and even there, I think it was a bit driven, I thought, just a little bit driven for this piece. Perhaps the last movement would, profit from that kind of approach a little bit more, but I feel it needs the breadth of, the space between the notes. Again, I repeat myself over and over, and you've got to hear the harmonies clearly in order to place those notes. In other words, if I go bum ba da dum, that's wrong for me. That note's too early. But being da dum da 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 da, so that you can tag the whole phrase at the end with ba di da 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 da. Then again, holding and that repeated note, you got to decide whether you want to go da 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 dum ba dum or dee da da dum bum bum. You know, is the repeated note an entity in itself, or is the second note of the repeated note attached to the next note? Where does it belong? I think you have to think about your phraseology in relationship to what's underneath your solo part. Obviously, the orchestra, more aptly put, the harmony. And so if you do this throughout the whole thing, you'll get less of that in time. Well, I would say dull, strict time. Rather than being dull and strict, it will be expansive and sensitive. And the tone, that was the other thing. It was a sound thing and a timing thing for me. This is on a very high level, by the way. I think you play the concerto, you play the hell out of it. There's no question. There are a lot of people that can't do what you just did. But nevertheless, I think you should think about this movement, Allegro Appassionato, more expansively. It's not a driven appassionata, but a more intimate yet powerful, performance of this piece. And then when you get to the middle section, you can really just, I found that da 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 dee da da da, again, too driven a bit. You could be more intimate and much. I would keep those three notes going to the top note, of course, but not so directly. You know what I mean? And the ends of some of the let's have some, enjoy those moments. I hate to say it, but hold the long notes longer, the note values longer, the whole notes or half notes, and the quicker notes, the bridge material, get on with it. And you do. But you've got to have those moments of holding. You've got to hold us, capture our imagination. Okay? That's all I wanted to say.
Kevin, before we get to our third judge, you have any comments for Mr. Atamian?
No, thank you so much for your input. It's very helpful.
Wonderful.
Well, I hope so. I mean it in a very constructive way. It can be glorious,
And our third judge, Gevorg Sargsyan in Saudi Arabia.
Hello. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. And Julie, thanks to you as well. It was very nice and very supportive, collaborative pianist. We shouldn't forget pianists as well. Kevin, look, I'll try to come from the perspective of a conductor, and instead of saying what is good, what is not good, because many things are obviously very good, I would rather we discuss it instead. I heard a lot of energy. If I don't hear, I just look at you and I don't have the audio, I would think you are playing either Khachaturian concerto, Tchaikovsky, or maybe the third movement of Sibelius. If I don't hear it, there was this tremendous, I'm going to do it. For my liking, it was too powerful for Mendelssohn, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be an interpretation of yours, and I am totally with you. But because of that, I think because of that energy, there were certain things that what Lisa and Tigran just mentioned as well in terms of the retention of the notes and a little bit of unfortunate I don't even want to call it mishaps. It's just slips here and there, which is totally normal and happens all the time with all the musicians. So I'm not even focusing on that. What I wanted to focus on really the energy and your approach to this very dominant, it's like with domineering over the music. I also noticed that you are playing with because I'm trying to see you as a soloist, right? I'm the conductor, so I want to see you as a soloist with the orchestra. I was looking for that for that connection of yours with the orchestra. If you are playing the solo, what is your connection to the orchestra? Are we in the same synergy, in the same, level? I didn't see all of it, but then again, you don't have an orchestra with you, although Julia did an amazing job. So that was my impression. But needless to say, it was very powerful, very good, and many things. And Cadenza, I can see it was many hours put in it, and I want to appreciate and thank you for the efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin, any comments you'd like to make or questions you'd like to ask? Or
No, thank you so much for the input. It's very helpful.
So you weren't playing the Cacciatorian concerto then?
No.
Well,
the Allegro molto appassionato.
Right.
I guess that's also the appassionato part.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for participating. And Judy Clark, a wonderful accompanist. It's obvious that the two of you have been working well together, working very hard together, and we appreciate your coming to the virtual concert stage. Thank you very much. And to our judges, any other final comments about Kevin's performance before we move on to the music of J.S. Bach?
Yeah, I'd like to say one thing. Maybe the question should be, how do you conceive this piece? Because what Georg and Lisa were saying, it's a matter of conception. Nobody's going to argue that it wasn't well played, but we want to go beyond that, right? So is it a Tchaikovsky? Is it a Brahms? Or is it this very, in a way, this is the hardest concerto, in a sense, for violin. Many violinists, including Shlomo Mintz, who I played with, and I think I haven't heard him in a long time. He was pretty phenomenal. And this is particularly his piece. He made his debut with Abado with it in Chicago. And this is what I mean. How do you think of that opening? What do you think of the first cascading passage work? That's a very tricky passage. What's the conception in words? I like artists to articulate in words. I don't like I had a teacher once that just pushed me off the piano and say, do it like this. That's not teaching. You have to say something, verbally to give the student or the person you're working with an idea of what they want, what he wants.
Right.
Or she. So my question to you, and I don't need the answer now, of course, we don't have time. What do you think of this concerto? How do you think it should be played? You can answer if you want to.
Is Kevin still with us? I think he's just, there he is, yes. Kevin.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us your conception of the piece?
Well, I was going with because there isn't a comma after the Allegro, so is it a question of, is it Allegro molto appassionato? Is it Allegro molto appassionato, or is it Allegro molto appassionato, which is...
Yeah, but those things don't matter. Those are directives. Composers, look, Bach didn't give any indication to anything, but you can just see it in the manuscript. You see the notes, the note values, the spacing, the texture. I don't think you need Mendelssohn to tell you molto appassionato. You don't even need Beethoven to say with the innermost feeling. That opening of 101 is one of the most personal statements of all time. And so is the opening of this concerto. It's extremely intimate in a sense, not driven, I don't think. But if you think of it as driven just from the score, not the directives, staccatos and all those things, forget that. Just tell me from the notes, how do you think of that opening?
I feel there's this inner energy from the violins in the orchestra. The that to me, it's.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I'm coming from the energy of the orchestra.
See, I think of that energy of the orchestra being very supportive and very down, not too aggressive. You know what I mean? almost like very much like chamber music, you know,
Mm.
very collaborative. I like what Georg always says in these sessions is he wants to hear you with the orchestra. And I think you might think of the opening a little differently, and it might give a tone to the rest of the piece that you never thought of, possibly. I'm not saying my way's right. You know, I mean, I know the piece very well and, you know, whatever, but everybody has an opinion, right? I mean, that's for sure. But I think here, this molto appassionato or passionata, I don't know the marking. Yeah, I mean, you don't need it. Just get it from the notes.
Well,
That's
Kevin,
what I
thank
think.
you. I hope you got something from this. I myself did. I learned a lot just from listening to you and listening to the judges. So thank you very much. We're going to move on now to our second performance on the virtual concert stage. And by the way, you're turning into the competitions that is for ColORCHESTRA Auditions. And these young musicians are auditioning for a chance to play with one of four very wonderful orchestras that we mentioned at the top of the show. So let's move along now to our second performance, and this is coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee, and we are going to be listening to the opening movement, Vivace, of the J.S. Bach Concerto for two violins in D minor. And our performers, I'm not, do we have a pianist? I don't have the name of the pianist if we have one, but our performers are the accompanist is Alessandro Volpi, and the duo is Eric and Sofia Jens, a brother and sister. So if they're ready to come on to the virtual stage, let's welcome Eric and Sofia Jens with their accompanist to perform the opening movement of the Concerto for two violins in D minor of Johann Sebastian Bach. Bravo and brava. What a wonderful performance by Eric and Sofia Jens of the Concerto in Two Violins of D minor by Bach, the opening movement, coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee. Brother and sister, how long have you been playing together?
7 years.
Oh my goodness. You started when you were just very, very little kids. Well, you really play well together. I'm going to turn the stage over to our three judges. And Lisa, we started with you last time, so we'll start with you again. Lisa Lehman will give you some comments.
Hi, Eric and Sophia.
Hello.
Well done. Wow. So I'm just curious before I say anything, because again, I'm the non-instrumentalist in the room. How many hours a week do you two practice together?
A week, I'm not sure, but like in a day, 3 or 4 hours.
Bravi tutti. That's amazing. Well, I foresee very good things for the two of you, and of course for your accompanist. That was well done. I wonder sometimes with Bach if we, and singers are really guilty of this too, if we kind of rush him a bit sometimes. You both play with really nice technique, beautiful technique, and lovely sound. I wonder if part of the next step might be to give the weighted beat weight. You know what I mean? Like, find where the weak and the strong beats are, because that's certainly a big part of the Baroque style. But I think it will also give you both more fun when you're playing it. It's a little more dance-like, especially the vivace. So it was beautiful, and bravo. Your techniques are great. You're both amazing emerging musicians. But just from a musical standpoint, I think my ear wanted a little bit more of that. This is going to sound negative, and I don't mean it, but a little more elegance to it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But thank you. Ravi.
Thank you.
Dick Ron, you want to go second?
Sure, it's fine with me. Good performance. Very good.
Thank you.
But have you ever heard of tempo character? Have you ever heard that term?
No.
You haven't. I like what Lisa said because it made me think of that. That part, boom, beep, boom, boom, is like almost like a jig. It's almost like a dance, and it's not really part of dee-da-da-da-dum, boom, boom, boom. That's much more, toccata-like. I mean, there's so many episodes in this piece, but unfortunately, and this is meant to be very constructive, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Much of it, and most people play it the same. I mean, there are no episodes. It's episodic. Bach is so episodic, and I don't mean just in toccatas where you have a free form, or even in an English suite, in a prelude of an English suite, it's very straight like this, if you want to call it straight. But then there's that middle section of the A minor keyboard English suite. It's like it changes, and it's the same tempo, but the character is different. And this boom, beam, boom, boom, beam. See those that middle stuff, the bridge material can go, and that's what Lisa's saying. I don't want to say take time with those four notes, boom, beam, but don't play them the same. Boom, beam, boom, boom, boom. She likes that heaviness, and I like that heaviness too. It's got to have body. It has to have, it has to have drive, but not that much. And yours is just too straight. That's all. So make it unstraight. Make it crooked. I don't know. And the counterpoint was really good. And by the way, I liked your sister. I can't get the names. My phone is too small.
Sophia.
Sophia had. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm getting old, man. You know, it's like. Listen. I had a flood at my apartment last night. I left the water on, so that shows you where I'm coming from. Anyway, so look, the girl, Sophia, you had some very tender lyrical moments. I noticed, and your brother should listen to you a little bit more, just a little bit more.
Okay.
He's good. No, you're good, man. But she did something, and I can't pinpoint it. It was some lyrical thing, and you didn't quite do what she did. And I think when you're both playing, you need to kind of complement each other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. One last thing. Why don't you have a structural pause at the end instead of this grand retard? The Romeros used to do this very well with their Vivaldi stuff. In other words, something like that. Not so I mean, it almost
Okay.
We'll
the
try.
wind gets knocked of you. Okay, that's all. I'm too long-winded. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
You're up, Kabang.
Looks like it's my turn. Thank you very much. Thanks for playing. This was very nice, and I also want to thank Alessandra for that very skillful accompanying that sounds a little bit like cembalo on the piano.
Thank you.
So, look, what I want to challenge you a little bit is about, obviously it's very nice, and I can tell that what Lisa asked, how much you practice. I can see there's a lot of work done to it. But what I want to ask is, like, who is playing first violin and who is playing second violin?
I'm playing first.
And I'm playing second.
And I can tell that. But in my opinion, no one should be able to tell. Because this is not a concerto for first and second violin. This is a concerto for two violins. And they are equally, they have absolutely equal part in a way of technical challenges, of characteristics and many things. So they are very equal. And this is where I also want to ask you this metaphorically. Of course, there's no answer to this, but metaphorically, when you look at a zebra in a zoo, do you think zebra is white color with the black stripes, or is it a black animal with the white stripes?
Good question.
Good question.
That's good, Edward.
I don't know. I really don't know. But let's assume that it's a striped animal itself. It's just striped. So this is where this concerto is. If I'm on the podium, this is what I would love to see from the soloists. That if you are twins, for example, if you are twins, identical twins, two sisters, two brothers, for example, and you move around the stage while you are playing, people should not recognize who is who at the end, because it's supposed to be so much sewed together and all that. And in fact, you do. In fact, Digran actually asked that, and he mentioned that, Sofia, you are doing something extra. And it doesn't mean that Eric is doing something less. It's just there's a little bit of this. I can tell that who is the first violin, who is the second violin. So what I'm talking about here is a bit more ensemble thinking, more playing together, because each of you are very talented and gifted violinists. I can tell that. When it comes to playing together, this is where a new level of challenge comes in. It's it's sometimes it's easier, and in many ways it's sometimes more difficult to play together. But I want to compliment you on doing this pretty well, and I will not go into the details of harmonies and all that. Those are the things. And just one final remark: I would encourage you both separately, maybe in different rooms, go and study, if you didn't play yet, Bach's Chacona. Just play it on your own. Hear it. Hear those polyphonies, and then play this Bach concerto together again. See what happens, and then let me know.
Eric and
Thank
Sophia,
you.
do you have any questions for our judges? Any comments or any feedback? And by the way, have you each played the chaconne?
No, not yet.
Yeah, Yeah, it's one of the greatest pieces
Not
ever
yet.
written. Would you have any questions for our judges?
No.
Can we get
No.
a
Come on.
can we get a look at your accompanist? Can she take a bow?
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Alessandra?
Hi.
Hi, yeah,
Good
you're
job.
Alessandra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, get back to us when you've both played the Chaconne, because it's, as I say, it's a monumental piece.
Okay.
One of
We will.
one of the great monuments of Western
Great job.
culture. Great job.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
really.
much.
Well, we're going to continue. We have two more performances. Would you, the judges, like to make any last roundup comments about Eric and Sofia? Any?
Just
Yeah.
very well done. Thank you.
Yeah, it's it's a very good
Real pleasure.
performance. Yeah,
Great.
I agree with you guys. Yeah.
And for those of you just tuning in, you're listening to the ColORCHESTRA Auditions that are coming to you from virtual concert halls. And virtual concert halls is a channel dedicated to bringing live performances and events from international artists delivered to the audiences around the globe. And this virtual concert halls is quite unique. They work with hundreds of ensembles and artists and organizations of all kinds. And I should mention that this broadcast is being viewed on virtual concert halls. Has so many platforms, from LinkedIn to Twitch to Facebook to, there they are, Alignable, which is a new one, Facebook and Vimeo and Instagram, there they are. So this broadcast is being heard and seen on just about every streaming platform you could imagine. Alignable is a brand new one. Even on Twitter. Is that live on Twitter? Or X, rather? Anyway, we just wanted to give you a little background about Virtual Concert Halls. It's a very unique organization, giving these young artists an opportunity to have a world stage and to audition for the performances. We're going to move now to a performance of the first movement of a piece I'm not that familiar with myself. It's the Oboe Concerto by Ralph Vaughan Williams, and it will be performed by Eleanor Alford oboe, and I'm not sure she's probably being accompanied. We'll introduce the, is it unaccompanied piece? Couldn't be. We'll find out in a minute. So here is the opening movement of the Oboe Concerto by Ralph Vaughan Williams, and our soloist is Eleanor Alford. That was Eleanor Alford, oboe, and she was performing the first movement of the Concerto for Oboe and Strings in A minor. It was written for Leon Goossens, and we didn't have the benefit of hearing the strings, but we certainly were able to get a wonderful presentation by Eleanor on the oboe, unaccompanied in this instance. So it's a wonderful piece, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Lisa for some comments about this wonderful piece and performance.
Thank you. Brava, Diva. Wow. Just incredible playing. Thank you.
Yeah,
I once upon a time in another life, I tried to play the oboe for a couple of years, but whew, I was like, oh, okay, I'm a much better singer than an oboe, so I'll stick with this. Really extraordinary technique, amazing dynamics. Vaughan Williams is so demanding of his soloists, so demanding of his players in general. But I felt that you've really embraced the piece, and I've never heard any of his oboe music, so I look forward to hearing it with an orchestra. I don't want to overly state anything. I wonder where you are in the process of this in terms of, like, it's a concerto. Would you memorize it or would you play with music?
You mean like right now or?
No,
like
I know that you played with music. We could see that. That's fine. It's not a judgment.
Okay.
Would you, when you would play it with an orchestra, would you play it from memory?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
I wonder, I think for me that as a singer is always, it's always the big moment where the piece tends to take on a deeper meaning because you're not looking at the codes in front of you anymore, and it becomes just slightly different. And I would really like to hear that when that day comes. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Beautiful, really incredible.
Dick Ron, you want to go second? We'll keep the order the way we've been keeping it.
Sure. It was really beautiful playing. Just very beautiful playing. You understand everything. There's really. Have you heard Tabuto play? Wasn't he the oboist?
Yeah, I've heard some recordings. Yeah.
Well, this reminded me of the Lark Ascending. That kind of improvisatory playing, piece, and yeah, you did a great job. It was very expressive. It sounded fresh and almost like you were composing it. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great. I have nothing to say. It was just gorgeous.
Geborg?
Well, if it's over to me, thank you. That was very nice. You know how I know this piece, actually? I know this piece as this is especially the section C, if I'm not wrong, where you change the rhythmic section. It is one of the extracts that I use for auditions for oboes for orchestras. Like when we audition for orchestra for a member in orchestra, right? There is a orchestral excerpts part. So we use this section C. I personally use section C of this concerto to see how the oboists are handling it. So if you ever apply to an orchestra that I'm conducting, you have a space. It was really nice. Look, what I want you to focus on is again the relationship between solo and orchestra, which was at the moment not present, but you were very present because I was looking at the score. I will not be, when I look at you and then I have a second screen actually looking at the score. And it was mesmerizing how you were listening to the music in your head that is supposed to be there. I could just, hear you, hear that silence. So that was really nice. There was only one place somewhere in before section K where you could have let cello play a bit more, the cello section when they have that, could have let them a little bit more focus back on. But that's just, it's a small matter. And very last note, I would imagine it's difficult, but probably need to hold longer.
Okay.
To fade it out completely, right? I mean, again, it's more of a personal opinion. In terms of interpretation, I really like that pastoral flavor that you had, which later I would love to hear it with orchestra to hear how it evolves, because it has to evolve. It doesn't stay the way it is, right? And in the middle section, and when the section H in cadenza and all that, there is evolvement of this pastoral thing, and then back to it again. I couldn't see that arch because there's no orchestra at the moment. But yeah, that's probably what I'm. But if you have any questions, please, most welcome.
Eleanor, any questions for the panelists or comments?
Any comments? I just am so incredibly grateful for your time, for auditioning, and for this opportunity. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'm so grateful for all of your comments. I will, use them and keep working hard on this piece. But thank you so much for your time today.
And Eleanor, where are you in your career?
And if you have a chance, if you have a chance, please send my compliments to your teacher as well.
Yeah. I will. Thank you.
Are you in high school still, Eleanor? Or are you on to college?
So I am currently deferring a year. So I graduated high school last year, and I am taking a year, and then next year I will begin studying oboe performance at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
good luck.
You're off to a good start.
You have a brilliant career in front of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We're going to move to the last piece in this segment. Again, I want to remind you that you're watching the virtual concert hall, and we thank you for joining us. Our channel is dedicated to live performances and events from international artists delivered to the audiences around the globe. And as we mentioned earlier, this stream broadcast, I guess I can call it a broadcast, is being seen all over the place on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, and there you go, Alignable. And so this virtual concert halls is able to bring these young artists to a wide audience, and people are watching and listening from all over the world. And this is part of the ColORCHESTRA Auditions. Musicians are auditioning for an opportunity to perform with some great orchestras around the world. And we have three very wonderful judges that you've been watching, and now we're going to turn to our last performance. Now, this is a complete performance of the Violin Concerto by Beethoven. We'll hear all three movements, and it's being performed for us by Dina Nesterenko, violin, and her accompanist is Thiago Nascimento. So let's welcome Dina Nesterenko and Thiago Nascimento to the stage for a performance complete of the Violin Concerto in D major by Beethoven. The stage is yours.
Ready? Yes. Oh, sorry.
Bravo, bravo. Dina Nesterenko, accompanied there by Thiago Nascimento. I think you very much can you both take a bow. It was a wonderful performance. And let's get a look at your accompanist, the orchestra there. There's a performance of the Beethoven violin score. That was Dina Nesterenko, and also appearing as composer, I understand. But we'll let the judges talk about that. But we thank you for your performance. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to talk about her opinions about this wonderful performance.
Opinion. I'm dumbfounded. It was so beautiful. I feel honored to be listening here on a snowy afternoon in Erie, Pennsylvania, just being so inspired. What a performance. Everything old is new again. As I'm listening to you and these incredible cadenzas, you know, classical music is so, you know, gets a bad rap in some circles. Obviously not yours or mine, but when something so familiar sounds so brand new, you know, it's clear you are firmly grounded in the past with your eyes dead set on the future and being very present while you're playing. It's really an absolute honor to hear you today, both of you. Good grief.
Thank you so much.
And sign me up. I want a ticket.
Thank you so much.
Really, no, extraordinary. Just, I have, I can gush for hours, but the cadenzas, I'm sure everybody's going to talk about, were just so impressive. I particularly, whatever, just one little thing sticks out to me, the bridge into the rondo was, it's like I never heard it before. I was like, oh, okay. So thank you for that. That's a very rare gift, and I wish you nothing but great success and great playing and teaching. Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Gevorg.
Dick Ron, the stage is yours.
I wanted Gevorg to go next. I think he should be. He's conducted it so many
Happy
times.
to.
Okay, listen. that was just unbelievable. That was, I rarely can say this about anybody. The intent is what matters. The intent is everything. And I don't even care if someone can't pull off their intent, long as the intention is there. But my God, you intend to do all the right things and you do them. I mean, it's just incredible playing. I rarely have heard a performance of this piece this satisfying. I mean, I don't even know when, to be honest. Unbelievable performance. On so many levels. It's just, and my favorite phrase in the whole world, in the last movement, that one. Wow. It's just like, that's my favorite harmonic phrase in the whole world, probably. It's so tender, and you hold that note just the right amount of time, and then you tag it with the turn or whatever trill or whatever you do. What a wonder. I mean, where did you come from? It's just unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
Unbelievable playing, and that opening, that was just first time I've ever heard it in a way. There's only one person who plays it like that. Natasha Korsakova, I heard her play it incredibly well, but this was fresh. Like Lisa said, this was like, I don't know, man. It was like, whoa, just unbelievable. And that phrase, I just can't get it out of my. I don't think I'll sleep tonight because of that.
Nice.
So intense. What an intense performance, and poetic, and reminds me of so many things in the past. It's like, and I love watching you play. By the way, it's just phenomenal the way you play.
So much, thank you.
Your body English, whatever you want to call it. I just think of a pool player, putting English on the ball. I mean, it was just something. You're so sincere, and it's like you're a natural, like the movie, The Natural. Wow. I mean, I just it's a miracle, that performance.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me to hear this.
Oh, come on. It's you know what you are.
Gevorg, you want to add a few comments?
Sure.
You want to sign her up?
Sure, of course. Thank you. Well, obviously it's amazing performance, and I really like about what I like is that there was a story. There was a story. There was a bit of younger Beethoven, a little bit, I could sense that what Lisa mentioned, actually, you have this, I don't know how to say, it's not Russian, but maybe like a Soviet school, a Sovietska škola of playing, but you are far from being pedantic. You have evolved into, So I like this. There was a story. I like that you actually played all three movements, because if you play any first movement or second and third, it wouldn't be so holistic. The whole story started from, first chord all the way until end. And in the middle of that, there were some nice and technical cadenza and all these things. But what I was listening is a storyline. Body language, I think Tigran mentioned body language. It's very important. And I see you being very much aware that when your body moves, the sound flows. And this is something that a lot of people, have trouble with. I think this is important. What I can see in you is a ready person to stand in front of the orchestra and be in the synergy with orchestra to lead, as a soloist lead, not as conductor, but as a soloist. And yeah, I guess these are my comments. I have a bit of a different thinking about the power in terms of not power. Again, it's probably. I mean, I know you speak Russian. Obviously, you come from Russia. There's this term in Russian called мощность звука, not power. Power is different. Мощность звука. This мощность звука is something that I would probably would like to balance it with the orchestra, if and when you play it with the orchestra. But don't even take it as a critic. It's more like a friendly, suggestion.
Yes. Oh, may I add one thing? I'm so sorry. I just want to say one thing. As you heard from my cadenzas, and I also do a lot of solo violin arrangements for, I do Beethoven Fifth Symphony, I do anything that's polyphonic, I combine all the instruments. So my bridge right now is very flattened, very much flattened, so I can play three note chords, at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm working on my solo album right now, so it's the bridge I'm using, because if I swap, from bridge to bridge,
no wonder.
And what it really affects the soloistic projection. For if I play with orchestra, I would totally use another bridge, and
That's
also it would also not have this metallic sound on G string when I want to be powerful. It is just so flat and so how should I say, not enough lift.
I understand.
Powerful,
I understand.
It just goes into metallic, which I don't like, but I try to balance it out. Then it sounds a little softer. So it's a bit of, but I really benefit from this bridge when I do my solo arrangements, because I can play the orchestral score. Yeah. So it's a bit of, but if I play,
of course,
I have a different bridge. Yeah.
Understood. That was the motionless thing probably coming from it, because if your bridge is flat, I couldn't see it from here, but I can hear something there is different. Yeah, I couldn't put my finger on it. Right. Very well. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dina. Yes.
Unbelievable.
Bravo.
Wow.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. This ends this particular segment of our virtual concert hall broadcast for this afternoon, but we're going to be back at 4, and you'll never guess who will be appearing at 4 o'clock. Any guesses? It would be Dina is coming back to perform again. I can't believe she's going to do the piece again in the 4 to 6 hour, and she'll be joined by Kevin Matheson, who also performed the Mendelssohn violin concerto earlier today. So we have 2 repeats. So it will be interesting to see, in the case of Kevin anyway, if he's able to adapt any of the suggestions that the judges made. So this wraps up our segment. You've been listening to the Virtual Concert Hall live program. Thank you for joining us. This channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and events from international artists delivered to the audiences around the globe. I'm Steve Robinson, and I'll be back at 4 o'clock. The goal of these auditions is to encourage, nurture, and reward musicians who are proactive about sharing their art and developing their careers. Together, we're providing opportunities for musicians to be heard on many different platforms all around the world, and give them a chance to take an initiative, to present themselves on their own terms, and carve out their own career paths with a little boost from virtual concert halls. And they're auditioning to play with one of 3 orchestras that are involved with this project: the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, the Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, the Cairo Opera Orchestra, and the Boulder Symphony. So this is indeed a worldwide effort. The ColORCHESTRA Auditions are organized by ArtistVenture, Sound Espressivo, Progressive Musicians, and Virtual Concert Halls. And I'd like to say thank you to the team. Putting on a production like this is very tricky and complicated, and you can see on the screen there all of the people involved. So many people that have made it possible to bring you this broadcast. So again, we'll be back in just a few minutes, actually at 4 o'clock. We'll be hearing, I'm not sure the exact order, but we'll be hearing Dina again performing that same piece, the Beethoven Violin Concerto, and what a treat it will be to hear it again. Then we will have the first movement of the Concerto No. 1 in E minor for piano by Chopin with Victoria Marie Ramo. And then Kevin will be back, Kevin Matheson, with the Matheson Concerto. So we're wrapping it up for this hour, and we want to thank you all for listening and watching. And we'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for another segment of this virtual concert hall presentation. Thank you very much.